Hi again, everyone. I'm Ollie Matthews. This is the Narcissistic Resistance. And this resistance video is sponsored by contribution from Courtney, and here's her story. Dear Ollie, I have followed your channel for several years now, but I have yet to write into you. Basically, you and your followers have been my only source of validation, and being able to find myself in your story and the stories of others keeps that crazy-making, gaslit, you're too sensitive, something's innately wrong with you childhood of mine at bay. As is everyone's, my story is long and complicated and full of bullshit, and I'm still recognizing and having epiphanies about. I think I have hesitated to share my story because I carry a lot of anger and mostly just full-blown embarrassment that I let my mother get away with all the shit that she did. If she saw me today, she wouldn't even recognize me anymore. I'd laugh in her face because that fear of her I used to have is gone. And now I see the degenerate, hillbilly, simple-minded borderline she really is. I also try to be kind to my kid self, too. I was a kid, I didn't have any control, and I couldn't have changed a damn thing she did. I was manipulated, brainwashed, and my spirit was broke. You made a video on that once. I think it was called When the Narcissist Broke You. Yeah, I remember that video. That was a pretty popular one, actually. I don't remember when she broke me, but she told me and the others the story as if it were a golden piece of parental advice. She would beam with pride as she told it too, like it was the best thing she ever did, and all the parents should follow suit. Let's start there. So once upon a time, when I was 2, I threw a fit. My mother told me to get up and stop crying, and I didn't. Surprise, surprise, right? She said, I jerked you up by your arm, and when you wouldn't stay standing, I would beat your ass and let your arm go so you'd fall back down. I jerked you up and beat your ass like this, like probably 15 times. It's always great when they brag about their abuse because they think they're in like comfortable company. Like how my mother would brag in front of my father's entire side of the family, how those guys, when Matthew was little and those gay guys babysat him, they told me he pulled his dick out, and I laughed and still thinking it's funny. Moron. Embarrassed the shit out of her there. You eventually realized I wasn't going to let it go, and you immediately stayed standing, stopped crying, and stood there looking at me. I never had a problem with you after that because I had to break your spirit. And she was right. She did. Like I said, I don't remember that story happening, but the way I was throughout my childhood after that, it all makes sense now. I was over eager to help and love. I tried to stay little and unnoticed. I never had my own opinion about anything, and I didn't know how to stand up for myself to anyone, especially her. Right. Look, in that video, the moment you were broke, that's an important one because that's the moment you always have to go back to when you're deconstructing daily, why you are the way you are and why you think the way you do. You got to get back to that moment, even though it's a moment you don't remember. She sure remembered it. Enough that she brag about it. So you should actually be a little thankful to her for being such an arrogant, borderline asshole, okay, that she could tell you when you were broken because you weren't going to be able to remember it. So I'm the daughter of a borderline mother, a borderline monster of a mother who I've been no contact with for 8 years this September. My name is Courtney, and you could use it. Even after being no contact this long, I still deal with the aftershock of what she did and who she is and how it's ultimately affected me. Your last several videos have brought up so many things and severs Oh, I'm sorry. And serves to remind me of why I deduced the hell out of when I did. I went no contact with the bitch about 2 weeks before I had my first son. I could relate to treasure travel stories so much. I imagine that if I maintained any amount of contact after my son was born, she'd have him give me a bouquet of poison sumac too. You said it all, Ollie, when you said they want you to fail as parents. When I found out I was pregnant with my first son, my husband and I went over to announce it to my parents. My dad got a bit emotional, hugged us, and said the basic congratulations, guys, you're going to be amazing parents. My mother, though, the first thing that came out of her mouth was gasp. Oh my gosh, are you okay? It was so odd, such a weird emotion and comment. It was like she was worried about me, like I wasn't going to be okay. I couldn't do it. I was going to fail. I was going to fail at it. That's a lot of assumptions, I know, but I know my mother and what she was paving the way for. About a month after I announced my pregnancy, I went over to visit with my mother. I'm going to type this out in dialogue so it'll be easier to read. Her name is Angie. Yes, you can use her name too. The bitch always did have grand fantasies about being famous. Angie, I know you're really excited about being pregnant, but I'm honestly worried about you. Ugh. The simplest things. They try to gaslight you and start throwing fucking obstacles in because she's trying to steal your moment, steal your day, steal it all from you. My immediate thought was, why? I've been married for over 3 years to a great man. We have our own vehicles, place. We both have full-time jobs making a decent living. What could she possibly be worried about? I was completely unprepared for what she said next. Me, what do you mean you're worried about me? Angie, well, I haven't really talked about this before, but after I had you, I had postpartum depression really bad. Me, okay, well, if I start feeling a certain way, then I'll talk to my doctor, Mom. I don't want to worry about what may go wrong. I just want to enjoy being pregnant. Angie, well, I'm just telling you that because I'm worried because my postpartum was so bad that the moment I saw you, I hated you. After we took you home, I would strap you in your car seat and let you cry it out while I was standing in the shower drowning out the noise. I literally hated you. Courtney, and I know it sounds bad, but I fully understand how mothers can kill their children. What a cunt. What a cunt. What a borderline cunt. This is a borderline cunt. Making you think. Again, this is what the narcissist does. The narcissist wants you to believe they can see things about you that no one else can, and wants to put these horrible thoughts in your head to fucking sabotage you. Why? Because your mother's jealous of you. Because your mother's being honest. She hated you. It had nothing to do with postpartum fucking depression. It had to do with her being a fucking selfish, self-centered, borderline monster. Postpartum depression. Fuck that. Ollie, I don't remember exactly what I said in response to that. I honestly don't know if I even said anything at all. I just remember being fucking shocked, completely blindsided, and wanting to get the hell away from her at that moment. This is where my anger and embarrassment come in. Looking back now, I should have backhanded her right in the mouth and washed it out with soap like she always did to me and never spoken to her again. But who was I? But being who I was back then, I held on a little longer. About a month after that conversation, when I was approximately 3 months pregnant, my dad died suddenly. I'd like to talk about that eventually, just not in this letter. Well, that's probably made it a lot easier for you to go no contact, because it seems like your father had some kind of compassion for you. I don't know how deep the enabling was of your mother to have to live with her for as long as he did. Okay? But probably once that was gone, you had nothing left for your mother after she basically told you she wanted you dead after you were born. There were so many things she did after my father died that paved the way for no contact. I'm just trying to concentrate only on how she wanted me to fail at being a parent in this letter. I started to experience morning sickness. Well, for me, it was all day and night sickness. After talking to my doctor, he prescribed me anti-nausea medication and told me to try not taking prenatal vitamins as they make some women sick. He told me to make sure I was eating a well-balanced meal with foods that were high in folic acid. So that's what I did. I told my mother what my doctor said, and the next thing I know, she's telling people that I'm already irresponsible and not thinking of the health of my baby because I wasn't taking prenatal vitamins. My maternal grandmother asked me about it specifically, and I felt the need to defend and explain myself, so I did. Still didn't matter. I was met with disdain and disapproval from her because my mother, the same woman who chain smoked the entire time she was pregnant with me and understands why some mothers kill their children, had an opinion about how I was already unfit and selfish and that somehow matter more than what my doctor suggested. Okay, so your grandmother, your mother's mother, is a borderline too. That's where she gets it from. That's where your mother gets it from. Okay? Gets it from her mother, who did it to her, and now your mother's trying to do it to you, and you're breaking the cycle. She discouraged me from breastfeeding too. According to her, her body never made milk, so she couldn't. But looking back now, I think it had more to do with her being lazy and hiding from my infant self in the shower for the first 2 months of my life, convincing herself not to kill me. LOL. I told her that I definitely wanted to try, but wouldn't get hung up on it and would bottle feed if necessary. So then she had to tell me how some men are perverts and like to drink their wives' breast milk. Oh, what a fucking... Oh, God. And insinuated that my husband might be one of them. Oh, then they're just degenerates. They're just awful fucking degenerates, too, on top of it. Oh, they're just fucking sick-minded individuals, these fucking borderlines. Oh, and how he probably shouldn't be in the delivery room while I gave birth after he sees what happens to my vagina. He'd probably never look at me the same way or want to have sex with me again. All that coming from a woman who never breastfed and had a C-section. What a crock of weird, perverted shit, right? I ended up having an emergency C-section because my body literally wouldn't do what it was supposed to do as far as giving birth. I kind of wonder if it was a psychological thing because even though I know what bullshit it is now, those things still stuck with me back then. Could be. It could be. And your mother had a C-section. All your mother was worried about, exactly. So your mother's telling you exactly how she values herself through her vagina. Why did she have a C-section? To keep her vagina in shape. Because that's what she saw as her only value. And once you were born, you decreased her value. So she probably, like most borderlines, love being pregnant. Love the attention of being pregnant. Until you're born and the reality sets in of being a mother and having to take care and nurture, and the borderline wants no part of that. Postpartum depression, okay? Postpartum depression for borderline women, okay, is just the reality, okay, of the fun of being pregnant wearing off. That's all that is. Oh, now I have postpartum depression. No, you're a fucking sociopath attention whore, okay, who loved it during pregnancy, but once the initial birth of the child is over and you got to take care of it, now you have postpartum depression, right? Now you have postpartum depression. Sure. Oh yeah, my husband didn't turn out to be a perverted breast milk bandit, so all is well there. Shit, lol. After my dad died, she forbid me from talking about the baby. I tried to tell her about how we were decorating the nursery, what we had gotten for him, and what we were thinking of naming him. Every time I would try to talk about him, she would tell me, I'm so sorry. I literally can't be happy for you or your baby right now because I'm grieving for your dad. I know you want to talk about it with me, but I don't even have the energy to pretend to be happy for you, so don't talk about him. So again, okay, your mother's not going to give up an opportunity to make a situation all about her. And with your dad dying, it's actually great timing for her, because not only could she make it about her, she can ruin your pregnancy and the birth of your child on top of it. Any normal person would say, you know what, I need to focus all in on my grandchild because my husband didn't even get to see his grandchild. Nope. All about her. All about her all the time. I just wanted her to feel included and involved. I didn't need anything from her, especially where our baby was concerned. I just wanted to share it with her. I told her one day that I understood the grief she was feeling, and that I was also sad that Dad was gone and was trying to find hope in a new life being born. You don't know what grief is, she said. You only lost your father. I lost my husband, Courtney. I had sex with him. It's different. This is like the story I've told about Virginia, my mother's mother, fucking borderline source, the source. I don't remember, it was Christmas or Thanksgiving. It was this discussion at the table, okay, and my grandmother said, I was having a discussion with friends, or I was like, where, there was a scenario that your husband and child are drowning in the ocean. And you can swim and you can only save one of them. Who do you save? And everybody's like, oh, your child. My grandma was like, no, we don't save the child. You can always have another kid. You don't know if you're going to find another good man. I had sex with him. It's different. The vagina. I'm telling you. All your mother cares about is a tight pussy. That's what runs your mother's life. That's what's been running your mother's life. That's what runs her life to this day. As old as she is her fucking pussy. That's what it is. That's her only value, and that's what she sees as her power. I stopped talking about the baby completely after that. I had somehow held onto the hope that my dad's death would bring new hope and understanding, but it only brought me more chaos and confusion. So I started to distance myself from her. That sure as hell didn't stop her from showing up at my baby shower with $200 worth of gifts, trying to rub my belly and walking around like she was the proudest grandma in the world, acting as if my baby was the greatest blessing she could ever receive at a time like this. Well, she's going to go and get the supply where she can. Can we talk about how I announced the baby's gender? I was 20 weeks pregnant, found out that he was a boy, shoved his sonogram picture in a frame and gave it to my mom with the letter like it was from my baby to her. Her comment, you ask? Wow, he's definitely all boy. He has a big dick like your dad did. What? Is she my grandmother? Are we related? Are we related? Virginia and my mother, they used to talk about dick size, including my father's. Virginia accused me, of tantalizing my mother and her two sisters with that big German dick of yours. They're all the same. They're all the same. They're fucking degenerates, man. Sexualizing your son in the womb. In the womb. Wow. What the hell, Ollie? I still struggle with myself being able to justify or excuse her comments away because you can. There's no excusing that, the fucking pervert bitch. Why didn't I walk away then? Sometimes it makes me hate myself because you are having a child. You lost your dad. You still don't understand that this bitch broke you. And you're trying to have a relationship with your mother that's just never going to be there because she's not a mother. She's a fucking borderline whore. I had my son and went back to work 6 weeks later. I hired my cousin's wife to watch my son at our home while I was at work. My mother got wind of that and had a nanny. My mother got wind that I had a nanny. And the next thing I know, there's rumors flying around that I put out an ad on Craigslist and there's some strange woman living in our home, probably having a threesome with me and my husband. Okay, here's the question I want to know. How does your mother know about threesomes on Craigslist? How does your mother even know that's a thing? How does she know that? How would your mother know that's a thing on Craigslist? It's like when my mother accused me of fucking Tori, my neighbor, in the middle of the street. When I'm like, when I called and when there was a fight in the middle of the street, and I'm like, you're rude to everybody, you're rude to my friends, like you're rude to my neighbors. Oh, your neighbor, Tori, what do you care? Because you're fucking her. And she did like this fist pump thing in the middle of the street. I still can't really fist pump that hard, but it still hurts a little bit here. But, and she jumped and fist pumped. Oh my God. Oh. Yeah, this is borderline. This is borderline personality disorder. So bad. So bad. How does this old woman know that looking for threesomes on Craigslist was even a thing? How? With her tight pussy and her C-section and big dick. Huh? Degenerate. Degenerates. Looking back almost 8 years later, it's all so absurd and stupid. I have 3 children now. We moved 3 times and just bought our first home this May. I'm very vigilant in not disclosing any info about myself or my family because I still anticipate CPS showing up at my door. I searched my name on the white pages the other day and my new address shows up. If she's still stalking me like she did when I first went no contact, it's just a matter of time before they do or she does. If anyone does, I hope it's CPS and not her. I'm afraid I'll end up in prison. Throughout these years, she's made comments that I've heard through the grapevine that she wants grandparental rights, but luckily in my state, since she's never had an established relationship with any of my children, at her request would be invalid, as it would be in most states. There is really no such thing as grandparents' rights in this country. And if they're in the states that do have them, it's pretty limited. There has to be, like you said, an established relationship. It can't be through a divorce, or there's criteria. Anyway, in my humble opinion, low contact is bullshit. Even if you are aware of what your narcissistic parent is, you'll never fully see it until you're away from it indefinitely. I'm still having epiphanies about the brainwashing and gaslighting that happened to me. Guys, they'll do it to your kids. They'll do it They'll do it about your kids. They'll turn your kids against you, and the next thing you know, your kids are abusing you too. No contact was the most painful, scary, and amazing thing I ever did. Do it. You're worth it. Your life is worth it, and your kids are worth it. Get the hell away. I was able to justify and excuse away and everything my mother did when I was still in contact with her because I was immune to it. Today, as angry as it makes me feel, I can see it for exactly what she is, but it's a relief that I do. They don't want you to succeed as a parent. They want you to fail miserably, and even if they can't make you fail by their words and advice, they'll make you seem like you have. Get away from them. Get away from them right now. Thank you for taking the time to read a part of my story and giving me a space to let it all out. I'm looking forward to your narrative and the comments from others. I've been able to relate so much to you and your followers. I hope I resonate with you guys as well. Thanks for everything. I'll be writing again soon. Courtney. Well, Courtney, understand what raised you. I mean, you got the borderline right, but I don't think you realize how bad of a degenerate your mother really is. Okay? It was all leading up to that Craigslist three-way thing, threesome thing. How would she know that? How would she know that? I'll tell you how I know it, because when Charlene was running the swingers club, they would, these people would meet up on Craigslist. So you'd have like the Craigslist groups and you'd have these other groups. They'd meet up and they'd fucking... Your mom accusing you of setting up a three-way on Craigslist. How does she know that? As she's commenting on dick size and your child's dick size in the womb. Worried about your vagina getting blown out through childbirth. These are all the clues of a degenerate borderline mother. Right there. All there. It's all there. All there. It's been 8 years, no contact as well. So your fears of CPS might be a little bit of paranoia as well. Nobody's going to take it serious. I find a real hard time that anybody after 8 years, never even meeting your grandchildren, is going to take it seriously. So be aware, don't let your guard down completely. But I wouldn't be stressed. I wouldn't be the top stressor on my mind. Worrying if CPS is showing up after 8 years of no contact for grandkids she's never even interacted with. So, what a degenerate. What a fucking degenerate. So, I hope that helps. Thank you so much for your contribution and story, Courtney. I really appreciate it. Thank you to everybody watching. Please leave any opinions or advice in the comments section below. And again, if you want your story read on the channel, you have a topic you'd like me to cover, a narcissist you'd like to expose, you'd like to sponsor a video like this for someone who needs help and can't afford it, or just make a contribution to the channel in general to keep it supported, growing, and successful, because this channel survives 100% on contributions from all of you. Without you guys, all this goes away. So if you like what you see here and you want to see more videos like this, you know what to do with the PayPal and email links in the description box. Also, please like and share this video wherever you can. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't. And be sure to click the subscription bell to be notified of all my video uploads. I'm Ollie Matthews. This has been The Narcissistic Resistance. Take care.